Hey, what's going on, guys? We got ourselves some absolutely insane breaking news regarding the Jay-Z incident, and he was quick with it. Jay-Z and Roc Nation immediately released a statement. The lawyer already put out a filing. We'll get to all of that in a second. Let's start from the beginning. So, about 2 hours ago, NBC News got an exclusive interview with the Jane Doe that's mentioned in the lawsuit. You know, the R-word accuser who is accusing Jay-Z of, along with Diddy, R-wording her about 20 years ago at an after party, right? Well, here's what happened. NBC News caught up with this person, the Jane Doe in the lawsuit, and this is what she said. According to Megan Cuniff, she said, "I have made some mistakes and recollections of that night." The woman identified as Jane Doe in the lawsuit filed against Jay-Z and Diddy told NBC News. The woman said, however, that she stands by her allegations overall, even though she admits that she made some mistakes, and even though she admits and acknowledges that there are some inconsistencies in her allegations. This is not my words. You can read it right here in the NBC News article. As a matter of fact, let's go to that article right over here. There is a full several minute, 5-minute video of the accuser being interviewed by NBC News. I like to get to the important stuff because I don't want to waste your time. So instead of reading the interview, we're just going to read the transcript so we can really point out all the key details here. So here's the first one. In the NBC News article, it says right here, among the inconsistencies, the woman said her father picked her up after the alleged essay, but he says he doesn't recall that. The woman also claims she spoke to a celebrity at the after party where she said she was essayed, but that celebrity said he was not in New York at that time, and images from that evening show Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and Sean Diddy Combs, at a different location than the one the woman described. Although their whereabouts for the entire evening are unclear, this incident didn't happen, Sean Carter, Jay-Z, told NBC News in a statement on Friday, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. He added, referring to one of the woman's attorneys, Tony Busby, "True justice is coming." Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. That's the Roc Nation statement. Let's keep going. Jane Doe's case was referred to our firm by another who vetted it prior to sending it. So, okay, so I'm guessing this is what Busby had to say in any event. Okay. The allegations against Carter suggest a seismic shift, potentially linking the rap legend to the alleged behavior laid out in civil and criminal cases against Combs, who was in a Brooklyn jail, blah, blah, blah. I'm just skipping through to make sure we have all of the important things. Okay, here we go. "You should always fight for what happened to you," she said about why she is going public with her accusations now. "You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did ruin you or run your life. I just hope I can give others the strength to come forward like Ed came forward." The woman, who is now 38, told NBC News she was living in Rochester, New York in 2000, and that attending the VMAs was on my bucket list at 13. I was like, oh my gosh, one of the things I've got to do. She said, snuck out the window to evade her parents. A friend drove her to Radio City. Okay, so we already know the story. This is all mentioned in the lawsuit. It says here, inside, because I have a religious background, so something to talk to after something to drink from the waitress. Okay, so this is just more of the story. I'm just getting to the important parts because there's a lot of stuff that we already know. Here we go. There are some inconsistencies in the story about that night. Her father told NBC News that he does not recall picking her. Okay, we already read that part. According to their address at the time, her father would have driven more. Oh, here we go. This is where we get more information. According to their address at that time, where she claims that Jay-Z R-worded her, her father would have driven more than 5 hours from their home to pick her up. "I feel like I would remember that, and I don't," he said in the interview on Thursday. "I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind." So this is actually kind of crazy and sad. So basically, the father, her own father, is saying to NBC News, "I don't recall this. Like, I'm sorry. I know I'm her father. I know I'm supposed to stick up with her for her, but I don't know what she's talking about, okay? I don't recall having to pick her up. And then on top of that, based on where we live, that would have been a 5-hour drive. So I definitely wouldn't have done that." So I'm not going to say the father's turning against her, but the father's just being honest. He's like, "I just downright don't remember this." Says here, the woman's father, who said he learned of the alleged assault this week, added that he did remember once picking her up in the middle of the night, but he said it was a local drive. Now, here's another very interesting detail. The father has now said that he remembers picking her up, but he didn't learn about this alleged assault until a week ago. So basically when she filed the lawsuit. So basically she was 13, she's 38 now. For 20 something years or 18 years, whatever the math adds up to, the father never even knew about this, which of course people on the internet are going to highly speculate and pretty much conclude that the woman is lying based on everything that's happening. There's inconsistencies in her story. The father doesn't remember it. Not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to give an opinion one way or the other because I honestly just don't know what happened. But just knowing how the internet works and based on public opinion, I think public opinion is heavily going to shift in Jay-Z's favor after this. Asked about her father's account in a follow-up interview on Friday, the woman says she stood by her claim that he had picked her up and that it's possible he had misremembered. It is possible that he had misremembered, but what about the 5-hour drive? Like, that's kind of crazy. And also, speaking of it being a 5-hour drive, I feel like we need more information. Like, how did you get there? If it's a 5-hour drive, how did you as a 13-year-old get 5 hours to a celebrity party? Like, it's a weird story, you know? So anyway, regarding her father's recollections, Busby told NBC News, we agree. He states he doesn't remember. His daughter explains, okay, blah, blah, blah. The woman also told NBC News she spoke with musician Benji Madden at the after party, but a representative for Madden confirmed that neither Benji nor his brother Joel, they even attended the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time. The woman did not accuse the brothers of any wrongdoing. I'm telling you, the more I read this article, the worse it looks for this woman. It more and more so looks like she's not exactly telling the truth. I don't want to discount what she's saying because, again, I don't know, but I got to just use common sense here. Based on everything that I'm reading here, the story's just kind of falling apart, to be honest. Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me in the Rue, blah, blah, blah. Professional images reviewed by NBC News show Combs and Carter were among the celebrities who attended the VMAs at the party. It is not clear what time the images. Okay, blah, 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 blah. So, okay, I think we read enough. Let's go ahead and get to what Jay-Z said. So Jay-Z had a lot to say. So here's what Jay-Z said. Jay-Z posted on the Rock Nation Twitter account. He said today's investigative report proves this attorney Busby filed a false complaint against me in the pursuit of money and fame. This incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight for victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. The 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon. So basically, Sean Carter, Jay-Z, is hinting that they're going to go after this Tony Busby lawyer. That's what he means when he says true justice is coming. Like, oh, like, yeah, we coming for you after this. So Jay-Z's kind of taking a little bit of a victory lap here. Let's go ahead and read the other part. It is stunning that a lawyer would not only file such a serious complaint without proper vetting, but would make things worse by further peddling this false story in the press. We are asking the court to dismiss this frivolous case today and will take up the matter of additional discipline for Mr. Busby and all the lawyers that filed the complaint. I knew that was coming. I told you they're going to go after Busby. They're going to do everything. They're probably going to sue him or something. Okay, let's read this. So this is a document that Jay-Z's lawyer Alex Spiro sent to the judge in this current case. Says right here, we write to the court on behalf of our client Sean Carter on a matter of extraordinary and grave importance for the integrity of proceedings in the above captioned case. Today at blah, 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 NBC News reported on an interview that its reporters conducted with the anonymous plaintiff in this case. The interview outs plaintiff's allegations for what they are, a sham. Basic facts in her narrative. The who, what, when, and where are wrong. She claims her father picked her up after the assault. Her own father denies that ever happened. She claims she spoke with Benji Madden at the party that night, but he was on tour in the Midwest at the time, forcing her to admit, I have made some mistakes. I may have made a mistake in identifying, she claims. The assault took place at an after party in Mr. Combs' home, but photos that night show Mr. Combs and Sean Carter at Lotus nightclub for the after party. When pressed, the plaintiff admitted she was guessing about key details, including the time it took to reach the venue. She admits she has no single corroborating witness over the last 24 years. These stunning revelations made clear that the complaint filed by plaintiff's attorney Anthony Busby therefore had no factual basis whatsoever. Even Mr. Busby is walking back the complaint he put his name to, excusing these glaring inconsistencies by pointing the finger. let's click out of this by pointing the finger at the case being referred by another firm who allegedly vetted the story, blah, 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 blah. In light of these developments, I'm not reading all this, by the way, guys, but in light of these developments, it is now clear that Mr. Busby signed a complaint. So basically just blah, blah, blah. He's a terrible person. Dismissed the case. Says right here, Mr. Busby's failure to obtain admission to the bar of this court is a transparent attempt, blah, blah, blah. So basically they're trying to get the case dismissed immediately based on this bombshell NBC News interview. Given these facts, Mr. Carter intends to file immediately a motion to strike the First Amendment complaint under rules, blah, blah, blah. He respectfully requests that the court shorten the filing deadline for the motion. Again, they're trying to get rid of the case. So, woo, this is a crazy story. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, apparently the woman has autism. Let me see if I can find that real quick. It was somewhere where they said that it has autism. I think Megan Cuna reported it, but somewhere along these lines, they said that the lady has autism. So I'm sure that's going to be more stuff that's going to be used to kind of discredit her. Here it is right here. Here's a video of the lady interviewing with a woman named Chloe with NBC News. The woman has autism. It says right here in the caption on Megan Cuna's tweet. So, yeah, crazy stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know pretty much every video that I've made on Jay-Z the last few days, there have been a lot of people who have been saying that they 1000% think he's guilty. They think he's a terrible person. They think he's a weird offset. I've gotten a lot of comments like that. I've even had people get mad at me because I gave my honest opinion on what I thought, and people were like, oh, you're defending Jay-Z and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, got to call a spade, man. And this woman's case is 1000% falling apart. I suspect the case will very likely get dismissed. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks so much for watching the video, and I'll talk to you guys later. See you in the next one.